Yeah,
Okay.
all right. So, again, we're here sa Diskurso Pinas, another debate. And the topic is, does the Christian God exist? And I have here with me two philosophers. I consider them as philosophers. Huwag niyo sabihin professional philosophers agad. But I consider them as philosophers kasi they spent most of their time in dealing with philosophical questions or siguro philosophical na mga articles or posts sa kanilang mga pages. All right. So here, first, I will let them introduce themselves na lang. So, Sir Jordan, ikaw na lang muna mag-introduce muna sa sarili mo.
Kala ko magja-jack-in po tayo eh. Pero, sige. Hi guys, my name is Jordan from the Christian Worldview Project. And ang church ko po is sa Salitran Covenant Bible Church. Ang pastor ko po doon ay si Pastor Jeremiah Hangad. And if you haven't been subscribed to the Christian Worldview Project sa YouTube po, please do so. Doon ko po pinopost ang mga post-production ng mga podcast po natin. And marami pang mga darating. And konting background, ako ay teacher ng accountancy and business management and teacher ng philosophy sa Imus Unida Christian School. I am married, isa lang po ang asawa ko, pero meron po akong dalawang meron po akong dalawang lalaking anak. So, ano pa ba? Baka may questions ka. Nakatira ako sa Pasong Buaya 1, Imus, Cavite. So, I guess yun lang siguro.
Ay, sir, ano bang background mo sa philosophy or sino bang mga influences mo?
Yeah. I'm actually nagkakwentuhan na kami ni Mar dito na before ako ay isang evidentialist and siguro ilang taon pa lang na nasa camp ako ng presuppositionalist. And ang influences ko po ay si Dr. Greg Bansen and other presuppositionalists like Dr. James White, Jeff Durbin, Seitenberg and Kate, James Anderson, Jason Lyle. Yon, I'm reading their books. And of course, need ko rin recognize si Cornelius Vantil.
All right, okay. So, okay, next. Si Sir Mar. Sir Mar?
Hello po.
It's his, ilang beses mo na ba ito, sir? Pangalawang beses.
Pangatlo. Sa Diskurso Pinas.
Pangatlong beses na ni Sir Mar. Alright, siguro most of you know him, pero siguro sa mga hindi pa nakakalam kung sino si Sir Mar. Sir Mar, introduce yourself.
Hello, good evening sa lahat. So, sa sinabi ni Zuriel, most of the people here know me as yung parang katunggali ng mga theists pagdating sa discussions dahil it's my third time to participate in this kind of debate. Una kay Sir Mark Steven, very good thinker, and Sir Mickey, also very good thinker, and may opportunity na ako ulit to debate another very good thinker, si Sir Jordan. And again, ina-affirm ko lang yung kagandahan ng platform na to dahil hindi natin to makita sa iba eh. So, ang background ko is I'm an atheist, no? Nakilala ako partly sa Facebook page na Atheism in the Philippines. So, it started on 2016. Even though naging atheist ako way back in 2012. So, ginawa ko yon as an effort to promote discourse between atheism and theism. So, pero napapansin ko nowadays, the discourse, ang nangyari is na pupunta lahat sa, comedy and jokes and memes. I wanted to break away from that. Kaya, ginagawa ko to. So, need to itaas yung quality ng ating intellect and yung discourse natin, and this is a very good way para ma-achieve yun. So again, good evening sa lahat and thank you for this platform.
Alright. Thank you very much sa mga nagpa-participate dito ng mga debates, since of course we do it for free. Sila di sila nanghihingi at saka di namin to pineperahan. Basically ang movement namin is to promote healthy discussions, tsaka tanggalin yung stigma na ang religious talk is taboo or is not allowed. Of course, you're allowed to question your faith, kasi if you believe that your faith is absolutely true, then if your search or your method of searching for the truth is unbiased, then you will most likely arrive to the truth. So ayun, yeah, konting background lang kung saan nagsimula itong ganitong uh, usapan nila. They have talk in Sir Jordan's page. Tama ba ako, sir? Ikaw ba yung nag-host nun?
Si
Maybe.
Mar.
Si Mar. Sa kay Mar na page pala yun.
We'll call it parang collab, joint effort, parang gano'n.
Parang ganun. Collab nila. They had a discussion maybe a month ago or more than a month ago. They talked about certain stuff, anong debatable sa kanilang both kanilang positions. Alright, again, today our topic is, does the Christian God exist? Of course, ang affirmative dito ay si Sir Jordan, and he will present his case and why he believes that the Christian God exists. And again, our format is 15 minutes open discussion. Next is 15 minutes opening speeches and followed and be followed by open discussion na. And that's our new basically experimental na format, kasi first time natin tong gagawin dito. And I think that this will be a very good format naman, knowing na both of them have talked na already before. That's why they don't need to fully lay out their arguments, kasi naiintindihan nila ang isa't isa. At saka ayun, siguro let's start let me set up the timer muna. Okay.
Sige lang.
15 minutes. Alright.
Ayan. Good evening sa mga viewers.
Okay, help me welcome Sir Jordan. Good evening sa lahat, and chill lang.
Okay. Start na ako.
Okay.
Okay, so does the Christian God exists? Good evening po sa bawat isa, and I hope na naririnig nyo ako loud and clear. And let me start by saying the Christian God exists. And I thank Him for allowing this debate tonight to take place. I also thank God for sustaining the universe by the word of His power, for giving the universe a fixed order, which makes this debate possible, by the way. According to Genesis 8:22, while the earth remains seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease, or what we call the uniformity of nature. My opponent tonight, si Sir Mar, will assume this, and he is doing it right now, while continuing to suppress the truth about the God he knows exists. Now, it is also important to define what is God, para maiwasan natin yung straw man. The Christian God, according to our Reformed Baptist Catechism, God is spirit, infinite, eternal, and unchangeable in His being, wisdom, power, holiness, justice, goodness, and truth. You cannot accept one attribute over the other, or you can't just accept one attribute over the other, or you will misrepresent the God of Christianity. To say that God is only all-powerful or all-loving without recognizing His justice and holiness is not the God of Christianity. You will end up misrepresenting God, and you don't like me doing that to my opponent this evening. Now, it is also important to lay out what the debate is not about, para yung mga audience natin ay malinawan. What the debate is not about this evening. So, the debate is not about a generic form of theism. In fact, I will be joining Mar refuting other belief system or religious beliefs. I am arguing particularly for Christian theism, kaya nga yun yung title natin. And in a stricter sense, the only true theistic worldview is the Christian worldview. The Bible says there is only one and true God in three divine persons. That is why we can account for the one and the many, unity and diversity, universals and particulars. And without this God, we cannot account for everything. And when I say everything, it means everything. Romans 11:36 says, for him and through him, for from him and through him and to him are all things. The debate is not about whether or not Sir Mar or my opponent likes the Christian God. Hindi po ito tungkol sa okay ba sa kanya ang Christian God. Therefore, if what we are going to hear tonight is just a bunch of misrepresentation from my opponent, then Sir Mar is not really in the debate yet. The debate is also not about, sabihin ko, evidence. It is not about evidence. Why? In fact, napag-usapan na namin ito ni Mar sa aming friendly dialogue kung saan first time namin ginawa. Because evidence is subject to every person's belief that they take to the evidence. Ulitin ko, it is not about evidence because evidence is subject to every person's pre-belief that they take to the evidence. And that pre-belief is what we call presuppositions. The fact of the matter is, all evidence points to God. But the thing is, Mar is presupposing naturalism and I am presupposing Christian theism. Therefore, the lack of evidence for the existence of God is not the issue for tonight's debate. I mean, kaya ko namang mag-present ng evidence, but I'm not going to do that tonight because ang evidence na ipe-present ko is subject to Mar's interpretation from his naturalistic presupposition. The debate is also not about persuasion. Persuasion is totally subjective. Kasi baka mamaya yung mga viewers natin, hindi naman persuasive ang argument ni Sir Jordan. So therefore, hindi totoo ang Christianity. So, mali po yun kung yun yung iniisip ninyo. The debate is not about persuasion. Persuasion is totally subjective. One may have a cancer and the doctor provided evidence for it. The person who has a cancer may not be persuaded because he doesn't want to. We are talking about proof and not persuasion. So, what the debate is really about? The debate is about the existence of God. And because He exists, we have preconditions necessary in order to make sense of all human experience, which includes how we validate every evidence being presented. I will challenge my opponent tonight in an internal worldview critique. Let's see if his worldview can stand scrutiny given his naturalist, materialist presuppositions. Let's see if his worldview comports for laws of logic, truth, science, and ethics. Let's see if his worldview can account for the necessary preconditions of intelligibility. Basically, accounting means satisfying the question. Okay? Satisfying the question. So what is the question? What must be the case in order for something to be the case? That is, makinig po kayong mabuti, that is, if we grant the truth of my opponent's worldview, can he make sense of the preconditions necessary for human experience? Ano-ano yung mga yon? Uniformity of nature, laws of logic, ethics, and truth. So, let me lay out my argument for this evening. The transcendental argument for God's existence. So for tonight's debate, I will be arguing from the impossibility of the contrary. Okay? The transcendental argument for the existence of God is that without Him, we cannot prove anything. Ulitin ko po. The transcendental argument for the existence of God is that without Him, we cannot prove anything. To be more specific, the truth of the Christian worldview is that if the Christian worldview is false, you cannot prove anything at all. And a denial of the Christian God will lead one's worldview into absurdity. And I will prove that tonight, that my opponent cannot account for truth, the uniformity of nature, which makes science possible, by the way, laws of logic, and ethics. Unahin po natin yung uniformity of nature. And I believe this is very foundational. All human experience depends upon the uniformity of nature. Ulitin ko po. All human experience depends upon the uniformity of nature or the inductive principles that the future will be like the past. Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng inductive principles, that the future will be like the past. Whether we are talking about the scientific method, laws of logic, the laws of mathematics, sleeping, cooking, or even walking our pets outside our house, all human experience is dependent upon the principle of induction. Like what I have said earlier, my opponent will assume this tonight, tomorrow, and in the future, but will fail to account for it. Scottish skeptic David Hume, or to the famous atheist Bertrand Russell, in his book Problems of Philosophy, chapter 6, he presents his problem to atheists like my opponent tonight, and he said, I want a basis. Don't tell me that nature is uniform because it always has been. I want to know how we can know that the future will be uniform because everything depends upon it. And don't tell me that it always has been. That position, if Sir Mar will answer this kind of answer na ayaw ni David Hume and Bertrand Russell, so that position is a sheer, ignorant, blind faith, and the Christian position rejects that kind of faith commitments. Pangalawa, laws of logic. How in a naturalistic, materialist worldview such as laws of logic or logical absolutes can account for these things? Laws of logic are immaterial, universal, and invariant or unchanging. Without a universal, transcendent mind who is the Christian God, laws of logic are impossible. If all that exists are matter and motion, the laws of logic are not made of matter, then how can they account, or my opponent, how can he account for immaterial, universal, and invariant laws such as laws of logic? If they say that laws of logic are mere conventions agreed upon a certain people or created, then we have a bigger problem at hand. Next, truth. What is truth and how can my opponent know what's true? I'm interested. Truth is that which corresponds to reality. If that is his answer, the question will be, whose reality? Hinduism has his own suggested reality. Is it Hinduism's reality or atheists' reality? Now, in order to eliminate all possible realities being suggested, there must be an objective truth. So how can my opponent know what's objectively truth or what's objectively true? Let's find out. Well, in my worldview, truth is that which corresponds to the mind of God. And without Him, you cannot know what truth is. God revealed Himself to us such that we can know things for certain, including the truth. We know truth in the person of Jesus Christ. Proverbs 1:7 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Last but not the least, ethics. Is there an absolute morality? My opponent tonight claims that morality is subjective. Now, if morality is subjective, or if morality is based upon subjectivity, then how can my opponent know what's moral and what's not, without appealing to an absolute standard of morality? In fact, in the video of Yanni Boy na nireview po namin, which Atheism in the Philippines shared with a caption. I don't know if si Sir Mar ang nag-share nun, pero may caption. On point. On point daw ang video ni Yanni Boy. Let me quote what he said. Secular morality is better than religious morality. If this is objectively true, then by what standard can Mar know that secular morality is better? Actually, by saying that their system of morality is much better is to refute their own view of subjective morality. It's self-defeating. This debate presupposes truth, induction, laws of logic, and ethics. Ang ine-expect po natin ngayong gabing ito is engage yung intellect ng bawat isa. Engage ni Mar yung intellect ko. Engage ko yung intellect ni Mar. And by engaging, it presupposes what is truth. We appeal to the principle of induction that yung mga sasabihin namin a few minutes later will have the same meaning. And that laws of logic, you expect consistency sa discussion na ito. And that we treat each and everyone, kaming dalawa ni Mar, we treat each other with human value and dignity. I treat Mar na meron siyang value sa akin, and I hope ganun din si Mar. And itong mga bagay na ito na minention ko over and over again, these are, para mabigyan natin ng emphasis, these are called the preconditions of intelligibility. And they are necessarily true.
You have a minute left, sir.
Okay, they are necessarily true. In order for us to make sense of everything in the world that we are studying, so these preconditions of intelligibility are necessarily true in order for us to make sense of everything in the world that we are studying, in the universe that we are studying. Now, failure to account for these things means that your worldview has no foundation for the preconditions of intelligibility. It follows that it is false and cannot be trusted. Thank you, and good evening sa bawat isa.
All right. Okay. So I think that was very clear, no? So kung may mga tanong kayo, you can send it through the direct chat, direct PM nyo sa page para mabasa namin, hindi dun sa chat box para di kayo ma-cover up. All right. So basically ang narinig ko dun is Sir Jordan is expecting Sir Mar to engage sa kanyang mga accounts, like the Christian God can account for the uniformity of nature, the laws of logic, morality, and atheism cannot account for these. And the Christian,
of intelligibility.
the preconditions of the intelligibility, and these preconditions can be accounted to the Christian God. All of these points to the Christian God. Tama ba ako, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Sir Mar, what do you think about that? And sige, simulan mo na.
Hello. Ano naman yung mic?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so una sa lahat, good morning sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa atin. This is Mar of Atheism in the Philippines,
Gabi na
engaging
po.
with... Ano na?
Gabi na. Good morning, sabi mo.
Ay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening. And yun nga, I'm engaging with Sir Jordan of the Christian Worldview Project on the topic of does the Christian God exists? And yung mga pinoint out niya kanina, I will address them, no? Pero basically, the argument will boil down to, tama si Sir Jordan, our presuppositions, no? And yung sinabi ni Sir Zuriel, no, na tawag dito, allegedly atheism cannot account for these things. He's right. Sir Jordan is right. I'm not arguing for, atheism as a worldview. No? I'm arguing naturalism as a worldview. And as an atheist, I embrace the system of naturalism as opposed to theism. And sasabihin ko sa inyo kung bakit. No? Una sa lahat, maraming salamat kay Sir Jordan sa kanyang participation sa debate na ito. Na nakausap ko na si Sir Jordan, nabanggit na rin kanina, sa isang simpleng get-to-know discussion, and establish namin ang isa sa mga pinakamahirap na stage pagdating sa religious debates, yung understanding the position of each other. Diba? Mahirap eh. Sa mga religious pages, sa mga comment section, puro bira-bira ng mga cliche arguments and counter arguments. And we don't want that. Pero enough about that. Yung time for understanding ay tapos na, no? Nagawa na namin. Ngayon, oras na para sa seryosong debate. Refutation ng pananaw ng bawat isa. And Sir Jordan, I will apologize in advance sa mga sasabihin ko patungkol sa yung worldview and religion. No? Sabi nga ni Daniel Dennett, there is simply no polite way to tell people that they dedicated their lives to an illusion. And of course, I think both of us will agree on that. And to tell you the truth, every debate kung saan ako nakapag-participate, I really want to put myself sa perspective nung aking katunggali. No? Like, paano nila nasabi na tama itong position nila? Paano nila na-justify? Paano sila nakasiguro? I want to put my thoughts on their thoughts. No? So, I've done this many times in my 8-year existence as an atheist. The very first time na ginawa ko yun sa aking belief system is nung Christian pa ako. No? So, siguro, konting background lang no? sa aking Christian upbringing. Pinalaki ako bilang born-again Christian ng isang born-again Christian family and extended family. Simula ng bata ko, na-indoctrinate ako sa religious practice nila, tambay ako sa church, nagba-Bible study kami every Sunday, may church service, nagpa-participate ako, even yung mga vacation Bible school, no? So, typical na laking church, no? Pero, siguro, the first, yung pinakaunang questioning phase ko is nung college, no? Pumunta ako sa UST, Catholic school. No? So ako bilang born again, no? Subset of Protestantism, dami ko nakausap na worldviews. No? And dun napukaw yung attention ko sa pinakaunang doubts ko about religion, which is the interpretative nature of religion and particularly the Bible. So nagtagal yun for about 2 years dahil doon I labeled myself as a deist, no? Ayoko munang ma-associate sa kahit anong specific Christian religion, no? Pero that again changed nung ako ay 4th year, no? Na-expose ako sa Jesus is Lord Church ng isang kaibigan and talagang I got in deep in that, no? Pinasok nila ako sa retreat, nagkaroon ako ng malupit na experience doon. And dito, nabago yung buhay ko. No? Daily devotion ako everyday, everyday Bible study, every week meron kaming cell group, life group. No? So, ang pinakalangisang data ko doon is faith. No? Yung faith na hindi dapat kontrahin. No? Sabi ni Joyce Meyer, Christian author, dun sa isang nabasa kong libro, no? Worry and reasoning are two of Satan's most successful tools. He'll get us started with one negative thought and then sit back and watch us finish ourselves off. So, grabe, no? When you have faith, sarado talaga siya. So, either manampalataya ka or magpadala ka sa katanungang dala ni Satanas, and yun yung naturo sa akin. Pero, well, naging atheist ako, no? Nung 5th year, nakanood ako ng mga video sa internet, particularly the Atheist Experience ni Matt Dillahunty and Thinking Atheist ni Seth Andrews. And for the first time talaga na-shatter yung beliefs and worldview ko kasi I got really uncomfortable because yung mga nakausap ko, yung mga kumakausap sa kanila, they couldn't answer yung mga questions about religion, no? And yeah, after a year of struggling, no, I called upon God. Iniyakan ko yun kasi yung dating nararamdaman ko nung nag-doubt ako, nagtanong ako, wala na eh, di ba? And it's empty, no? So eventually, after a full year of asking many people, many theists, pastor, friends, nawala na yung faith ko, no? Once na may doubt ka, kasama na dun yung feeling of God supposedly comforting you, no? Yun yung nakita kong problem na parang God just resides in the feeling. So, voila, I am now an atheist. No? Na-realize ko sa mga arguments na narinig ko to justify the existence of such a God. It's unrealistic and illogical na, as it turns out, my belief is not justified. No? So, ayun, ever since 2012 up until now, I took a big step back, became an unbeliever, and made it my quest to look for these big questions about God and religion. No? May Diyos ba? And kung meron man, sino siya? No? Yan yung tanong na napaka-importante para sa akin. Kasi dahil once na nagkaroon ka ng klarong sagot dito, maiwasan mong maloko ng maling relihiyon eh, di ba? Ganun siya ka-importante and hindi masasayang yung oras mo.
Yep.
No? So, di ba? Ganun siya. And ultimately, yung paraan ng pagsagot natin sa tanong ito ay nakadepende totally in our worldview or belief system. Sir Jordan is totally right about that. Yung worldview mo is yung primary set ng paniniwala mo na nagdidikta kung paano mo titingnan yung mundo mo and kung paano mo siya aalamin at sisiyasapin. Yun yung pinaka-importante kasi dito nakasalalay yung lahat. Paano ka mag-a-assess ng ebidensya? Anong valid at invalid pagdating sa mga ideya? Kung paano mo dedepensahan yung logic mo, yung morality mo. Lahat nakadepende sa worldview mo. So, with that being said, balik tayo sa tanong, may Diyos ba? And kung meron, sino siya? So, dalawa yung tinatakil ng tanong na to. Una, posible ba? Reasonable ba na paniwalaan na meron Diyos? Pangalawa, yung identity ba ng Diyos na ito? Kung sino siya? Anong characteristics niya? Kapanipaniwala ba? So, ano bang metrics natin sa paniniwala? Sa akin, dapat reasonable siya para paniwalaan. And paano maging reasonable? Kailangan justified siya via logic. Ibig sabihin, yung argumento mo para masabi na totoo ang Diyos mo, it must be, number one, valid, and number two, sound. No? Philosophy aficionados and logicians will be familiar about this validity and soundness. No? Pag valid, dapat logically coherent siya. No? Kapag sinundan mo yung premises and agree ka dun, dapat wala kang reklamo sa conclusion. So, that's valid. Pag sound naman, dapat valid and true. So, dito na kami magko-connect ni Sir Jordan sa true, no? Kasi ergo, reason must conform to truth. All hinges on how we define truth, how we perceive it, and how we defend it. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng truth, di ba? I agree with Sir Jordan's statement kanina when he said that truth is a statement that reflects reality. Truth is a statement na ginagawa nating mga human beings in order to describe reality as we best see fit. Diba? Sample natin yung simpleng logical proposition, no? Na all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. Diba? So, yung validity ng tatlong statements na yun is valid, diba? Consistent siya. Wala kang reklamo dun sa structure niya. Pagdating naman sa soundness, we know for a fact that all men are mortal. Simply because all evidence points that all men do not live forever, diba? And therefore, nag-a-appeal tayo sa reality para masabi na sound yung isang argument, diba? So how to perceive reality must hinge on our worldview and ergo our presuppositions. And dito na ako mag-create ng case, no, for naturalism. Naturalism presupposes that there is only one reality, the natural world. And it's not that we dismiss yung supernatural because walang evidence. No? We dismiss supernatural because there is actual evidence that contradicts supernatural. Diba? So, supernatural claims are events that have allegedly violated the known laws of nature by definition. Siguro pag-usapan namin yung definition ng mamaya. No? I prefer naturalism because it satisfies Occam's razor. No? Yung yung law of parsimony na the less assumptions you have about something, the better. You eliminate yung mga hindi na kailangan para makalapit ka sa kung ano yung actually na totoo. Diba? So, with that being said, I will claim that naturalism is superior to theism because of the mere fact that we lack the means to verify the supernatural claims of theism. Diba? Theists say mind is separate from the brain, but all evidence points to minds being contingent to the brain. Theists say dead men can come back to life, but all evidence points that dead men stay dead. Diba? Theists say there are spirits and souls which retain their consciousness, but all evidence points that consciousness ends in death. No? So yung mga typical na ganito mga Christian claims na merong Diyos sa langit, comprising of Ama, Anak, Espiritu, tas yung anak ay namatay, nabuhay ulit, ay consider natin na supernatural. No? Ibig sabihin siya ay lantarang pag-violate sa known laws of nature. And sa worldview ng naturalism, yan ay by definition, isang impossibility. Diba? Kinakailangan mo ng mas matibay na ebidensya para makumbinsi mo yung isang naturalist na totoo nga yung mga bagay na to. Pero bakit? Bakit pas kailangan ng mas matibay na ebidensya? No? Ang kadalasan kasi binibigay nila is scriptural. No? Ito yung mga holy text na tinatawag. Sa kaso ng Christianity, Bible ang kanilang pinanghahawakan. Pero hindi talaga to sapat para makonsidera mong totoo yung mga supernatural claims. Dahil mas matibay yung ebidensya na sumusulungat dito. Kung ipagkukumpara mo sila, di ba? Isang libro na may nakasulat na ang tao ay nabuhay mula kamatayan versus libu-libong taon ng actual scientific evidence na nagsasabing ang lahat ng tao ay pag namatay, di na nabubuhay, di ba? The evidence for me is overwhelming against it, di ba? So, and kung para sa isang believer, sapat na yung isang libro para maging ebidensya na pwedeng mangyari yung mga supernatural na mga bagay, madali niyang maisusuko yung consistency and uniformity of nature. Diba? Anong ibig sabihin nito? Sabi ni Sean Carroll, isang theoretical physicist, we are made of atoms, and as physicists, we know for a fact how atoms behave. Kapag, if you believe that the atoms inside your brain and body act differently, just because of influence of the spirit of a soul, then what you're saying is that the laws of physics are wrong. Diba? Ganyang kabigat yung labanan ng natural versus supernatural. Ang supernatural claims ay kailangang basagin yung established law of nature para maging totoo sila. Kailangan nating iwaksi o itapon yung mga kaalaman natin na matagal na nating ginagamit para gumawa ng mga teknolohiya, magpaganda ng buhay, established na yan Nakarely tayo sa prinsipyo ng naturalism para magkaroon tayo ng tiwala sa mga nadiscover natin. And introducing supernatural claims so carelessly into the mix, nakakawala to ng tiwala, di ba? Dahil any moment pala na may isang supernatural being na pwede mangialam ng natural world natin at magbago ng mga bagay na alam na natin, di ba? Pero again, sabi ni Sean Carroll, supernatural claims, maybe they are true, Science cannot disprove supernatural claims by definition, pero sadly, there is no evidence for it. And you have a much more explanatory framework in assuming or presupposing that it's just the natural laws of nature obeying the laws of physics, di ba? So, sabi pa niya, the only assumption that science or naturalism makes is that the world is not trying to trick us. That we can be more or less certain that our sensory data is real and we look for patterns in this data. Could there be miracles? No, of course there could be. But then you're faced with two worldviews. One that says those eyewitness testimonies in holy texts, all the supernatural claims, they are either simply mistaken or are they trying to fool you? Or the other worldview says that all of the laws of physics that we think we know and that we realize that consistent is all wrong and that could be violated at any time. And that is a choice we need to make. Anong worldview ang mas better na nag-represent sa reality natin? Mas better ang pag-assure sa atin ng uniformity at consistency ng reality na ito. I submit that naturalism can give us both reality and uniformity and consistency of nature, while theism gives us the opposite, supernatural events na hindi naman in accordance with reality and is therefore inconsistent with the laws of nature. So with that being said, yung labanan ng dalawang worldviews ay para masagot yung tanong, does the Christian God exist, ay nagtatapos para sa akin sa pagpanig sa naturalism. And through naturalism, I can definitely say that no, the Christian God does not exist. Not because walang ebidensya na makapagpatunay nito, but because there is actual evidence na kumokontra sa existence ng Christian God na ito. Actual evidence in the form of known established law of nature and also logical counter-arguments. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So basically, yung pinagsasabi ni Sir Mar ay he's weighing out evidences and how naturalism is superior to theism because for his worldview of naturalism, when you make a theist or supernatural claim, it will necessarily, or most of the time necessarily, reject the laws of nature. Tama ba ako, Sir Mar?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, and nature is the only thing that we can observe, and
Yes.
we can have a coherent way of it concluding factual answers for questions. And yeah, basically that's it. And so, marami tayong na-tackle dito, no? Let's have one topic muna out of it and let's focus on that one muna. So siguro, ano bang gusto
Walang
nyo?
walang
Saan tayo
rebuttals?
magsisimula?
Walang
Saan tayo
rebuttals?
magsisimula? Oh yeah, meron. Saan tayo magsisimula?
I
Affirmative.
think ang naging plano ni Sir Zuriel is walang rebuttals, tama ba?
Oh,
Tapos
open
tas
discussion
pure
tayo.
open discussion na tayo lahat.
Ganon.
But flexible tong ano natin eh. If
Oh.
the moderator can decide.
Yeah. Flexible to kung gusto nyo last minute mag-rebuttals tayo. It's okay.
It's about what you want, Sir Moderator, because you control
Yeah.
this program.
Yeah, let's go with the open discussion lang, the original plan. All right. So, sir, I will give the floor muna kay Sir Jordan to start kung anong pinakaunang contention niya or objection niya sa claim ni Sir Mar. All right, Sir Jordan, simulan mo na.
Okay. So, siguro unahin ko na lang doon sa sinabi ni Sir Mark kanina na before daw siya ay Christian. Sa Christian teaching po kasi, you cannot, once you are a Christian, you cannot be a non-Christian. Kasi to say that you are a Christian before is to say that you have been married but you realized that your wife doesn't exist. So, hindi po yan nagwo-work sa, kung totoong naging Christian ka, dapat hindi ka na talaga. What is consistent dyan sa Christian teaching is, hindi ka talaga naging Christian, Sir Mar. And if you want a Bible study on that, mas maganda rin. So, you appeal to Joyce Meyer, actually, hindi siya Christian. Hindi talaga siya Christian. Ino-oppose niya actually yung teaching ng Bible. Siguro, unahin ko na lang doon sa, sa question na, magtatanong ako kay Mar, no? Sir Zuriel?
Parang cross-exam to with
Okay.
you controlling the
Oh,
flow,
yeah. Cross
Sir
exam.
Jordan.
Okay.
Tapos I'm sorry pala no. So di ko na on yung aking na-mute yung sarili ko while
Okay.
talking. Na-mute
Grabe
ko sa OBS.
talaga.
sorry na. Yeah, basically yun. Ang sinabi ko kanina na we're going to have an open discussion and we will Sir Jordan will start sa kanyang
Anong time
objection.
constraints mo, Zuriel, sa cross-exam?
Basically lang time constraints kung feeling ko at saka matatanda na kaya alam niyo na kung saan dapat
Okay.
dinodominate yung discussion, alright? So,
Okay.
pero basically kung alam ko na parang isang tao na lang nagsasalita, let's
Okay.
give
Okay.
the other one the
Sige.
chance naman. Right?
Okay, sige. First question to Sir Mark. Can you provide a proposition that is impossible to be logically false?
Paki Tagalog. Can you? Okay.
Can you provide or pwede ka bang mag-provide ng isang proposition na imposibleng maging false?
You mean isang claim na pwede kong magawa?
Proposition, like for example, all men are mortal, yung sinabi mo kanina. Pero ikaw ang bahala. Bigyan mo ako ng isang proposition na impossible maging false.
Impossible maging false. Okay.
Yep.
So I propose that I am not all-knowing.
Okay, you are not all-knowing.
Yes.
Okay. Ikaw lang or lahat ng tao?
Hindi, sa akin.
Okay. Can that proposition be true in the future and universally? Is that proposition true in the future?
I can claim that it is absolutely true.
In the future?
Yeah.
Okay. If yes, are you saying that laws of logic do not change?
Yeah.
How do you know that without begging the question?
Because yung laws of logic natin is basically sila ay mga tautology. Sila ay mga in of itself truth statements na parang ina-affirm mo lang yung truth claim ng isang bagay. No? So yung mga basic na logical laws natin, which is the law of non-contradiction,
Yep.
diba? Law of excluded middle, yung A equals A.
Yep.
Diba? A is equal to A is not equal to not A.
Yep.
But those are tautologies na humans set them that way kasi that's how we perceive the world.
Humans set it that way. Are you saying na created ang laws of logic?
The laws of logic were created by human beings para i-describe yung facts of reality.
Before human being existed or brain existed, could the universe exist and not exist at the same time and in the same sense?
No, kasi yun yung fact ng reality.
So by saying
Pero-
no, you affirm that laws of logic exist before humanity kasi hindi siya created ng human if you said that.
No, sa view ko kasi sir, yung laws of logic are descriptions that humans have created in order to describe yung facts of reality. So, kumbaga, sabihin natin, even before wala nang humans, no? Kumbaga, walang humans na nag-exist, no? There would be no statements to begin with. Kumbaga, the question itself will not make sense.
Well,
Kasi walang humans na mag-iisip, walang humans na magpo-formulate ng words, walang humans na magpo-formulate ng statements, and therefore walang humans na magpo-formulate ng logical laws.
But that's not
the
my
fact
question.
of reality is still there.
Yeah, but that's not
Sige,
my
sir.
question. Ang question ko dito is accounting for logical absolutes. Yeah. Kumbaga,
sige, gets ko na.
wala namang question if men use logic. Pero ang claim mo kasi kanina, logic is created. So if laws of logic are just human creations, kaya nga sinabi ko, before a human being, one stone plus one stone, can that be two stone?
Before human beings, the question itself will not exist. So that's how flawed the question is, sir.
Yeah, pero hindi nga, pero kung mano-notice mo, hindi ko ina-argue if kaya bang i-describe 'yon kung walang tao. Ang question ko dito, ang question ko dito is yung foundation natin for believing that laws of logic do not change.
Let me put it this way, sir. Yung foundation ko, yung aking ground para masabi na yung law of logic ko is ultimate, universal, no? Is that they are self-attesting, no? Kasi napanood ko yung video nyo ni Sai, sir, na sabi niya, ano ba yung quote niya? All ultimate authority claims must prove themselves or else they lose that authority.
Yep.
So, para sa akin, ang ultimate authority ko is the laws of logic. And they prove themselves by the impossibility of the contrary.
Yep.
Kasi if you disprove the laws of logic, you are using logic and therefore you are, kumbaga, nagko-commit ka ng grave error sa reasoning mo, no, sir.
Yep.
So that alone, I can trust the laws of logic because they are self-attesting.
Yep. Pero kung mapapansin mo, I'm not asking that. I'm not ang question ko is how can we account for logical absolute unchanging laws? 'Di ba? Without begging the question. Kasi if sasabihin mo na that question does not exist kasi wala pang human na kayang mag-describe nun, nag-a-assume ka na nag-i-exist na yung laws of logic and you clearly refute or self-defeat by answering that. Kasi ang question ko is, are you saying that laws of logic do not change? How can you know it without begging the question?
Yeah, yun nga. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, sir, the question itself is flawed kasi we are dealing with dito concepts of time travel na. Kumbaga, we are dealing with hypothetical scenarios wherein kapag wala pang tao, pero nandito tayong tao sa present para mag-isip ng mga possibilities kung wala bang mga tao. So yun yung problematic doon. Pero yung sa akin nga, I will affirm my statement kanina na my ultimate authority is the laws of logic, and how I know that it is universal is that they are self-attesting. I cannot, they are my necessary presuppositions.
Okay, so in order to justify logic, ina-assume mo na yung logic. That's begging the question.
Actually, sir, yun din ang paraan ng isang precept.
No.
Kumbaga, pagdating sa precept, you presuppose God in order to prove God.
Ganito yan. But we don't do kagaya ng ginawa mo sa laws of logic. Basically, in the Christian worldview, laws of logic exists because it reflects in the mind of God. So sa inyo para maging, 'di ba, ang laws of logic exist because it reflects the universal mind of God, sabi ko sa opening statement ko. Now, without a universal transcendent mind, how can laws of logic be universal and at the same time transcendent if ito ay created lang ng human?
Pero do we know the transcendent mind of God? Kung anong laman niya? Kasi if,
What do you mean
sige.
by laman? What do you mean by laman?
Okay, the mind of God. Do we know the mind of God? Alam
Uh,
ba natin kung anong gagawin ni God in the future?
Well, meron siya mga certain revelation. He's gonna
Uh-huh.
judge every human na basta sa second coming
Kasi
niya.
what I'm seeing here, sir, is that if we want to root our foundation of logic into transcendent, in your words, transcendent mind of God, but we can't even account for this transcendent mind of God, nor we can know kung anong specific minds ng God na to, then parang naging baseless yung ating ground, no? Kasi sa
Well,
akin, sa view ko, sir, I wrote my ultimate authority on the laws of logic, partly also because yung laws of logic describes reality as uniform. How do I know that it's uniform? Kumbaga, I know uniform yung nature because I presupposed it using naturalism. And adding to that, there are no supernatural events yet taking place. So yun yung nagpa-reinforce din sa akin para i-root ko yung laws of logic ko into naturalism.
so kapag mag-a-appeal ka na sa uniformity of nature, ano ba talagang ultimate authority mo? Laws of logic or uniformity of nature?
No, yung tag dito, yung laws of logic ko is contingent upon my presupposition of naturalism that describes law of nature, that describes nature as uniform. So I can attest yung uniform, yung effectivity ng aking laws of logic based from my observation of the reality, the natural world as uniform. The
Okay.
moment na may magpakitang supernatural event dyan, doon mabubuwag yung aking laws of logic. Because sa aking view, theism clearly claims supernatural events. So, doon ako nagtataka, sir. Paano natin nag-ground yung logic using a God that can practically do anything that upbends those logical laws?
Well, kagaya ng pag-define ko, category error 'yan. Hindi binebend ng Diyos ang laws of logic. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, strawman po 'yon. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, laws of logic reflects in the mind of God. We are created in the image of God. That is why. So, if you're going to grant the truth of the Christian worldview, makikita mo na merong sense ang existence ng laws of logic because we have a universal, transcendent mind na nag-govern sa atin. Now, without the universal, transcendent mind, how can you have universal, transcendent laws na created lang ng human? If ang laws of logic is just a creation, how can you know na ito ay universal?
No, it works. Yung kumbaga yun eh.
That's begging the question. Logic is true because it works.
Hindi,
So that's begging the question.
No, it's not. Kasi isa pang description ko ng logic is a tool that we can describe in order to describe reality. Kumbaga, how can we verify if the tool is working? Di ba we use it?
Yes, but that's not the question. Kasi ang question ko nga kasi yung accounting. What must be the case, sabi ko sa opening statement ko, what must be the case in order for something to be the case? So so yan yung question ko doon.
Sige, meron akong follow-up question dun sa sinabi mo kanina, sir. Yung tag dito, do you think that God is all present?
Present everywhere, yes. Because He's transcendent.
Pero di ba nga it's a logical contradiction na sabihin that this being is both in this place and in this place. Kumbaga, that employs the law of non-contradiction. You're either here or you are there.
Nope. If you grant the truth of my Christian worldview, hindi siya logical contradiction. Why? Because God is transcendent. So, ang ibig sabihin po ng present everywhere is hindi po siya dalawa, na present dyan at present dito. Parang nawala ata audio ni Sir Mer. Nawala audio mo, Sir Mer?
Hello.
Ayun,
Hello.
yun.
Yan.
So, hindi siya dalawang tao na nagse-separate in order for Him to be present everywhere. Okay? Kaya nga, tinawag siyang transcendent. And ito nga yung foundation ng laws of logic natin. Without a transcendent mind, without a transcendent being, how can we account for universal transcendent laws?
Pero yun Sige sir, sige.
Yeah, and since the God of Christianity is transcendent, sa law of identity, God is what it is. He is what it is. He is transcendent. Sa law of non-contradiction, if He is transcendent, He cannot be not transcendent.
So yung tag dito, yung transcendence nga na sinasabi natin sa property ni God, yun nga yung nakapagpa-way out sa kanya para hindi sunurin yung conventional laws of logic ng
I think Sir Mar, hindi mo nauunawaan ang internal worldview critique, which is yun yung dinedemonstrate ko which is yun yung pinapaliwanag ko sa opening statement. If you grant the truth of the Christian worldview, ang how we describe omnipotence, all-powerful, all present everywhere, how we describe that within the Christian worldview, wala tayong magiging contradiction doon. But since ang ginagawa mo kasi is gumagawa ka ng external critique, okay, this is my presupposition, this is what this is what omnipresent means, so magto-throw ako ng sticks to the Christian worldview, and hindi po yan yung tamang internal critique.
Pero di ba sir, pinrisuppose mo din yung characteristics ni God? I mean, saan nanggaling yung characteristics na all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present God?
Yeah,
how did we determine that?
Well, He revealed Himself to us such that we can know things for certain about Him. So, importante na meron tayong metaphysical context at epistemological context. So, para ma-justify natin yung ating mga pinaniniwalaan na totoo na, like laws of logic, so dapat mag-make sense dapat yan sa metaphysical context na meron tayo ngayon. So, pinapakita ko sa iyo doing the internal critique without a transcendent mind, and if laws of logic are just created, paano ito nagiging universal? If I grant your worldview, atheism, if I grant your worldview and I create laws of logic, ngayon, gagawa ako ng laws of logic, how can this creation of laws of logic be universal?
No, sir, that's a misconception. Hindi ko sinasabi na yung the laws of logic is created by one person, group of person, you know.
So,
ang
ilan?
sinasabi kong law of logic being created by human beings, that yung pagiging hardwired natin ng pag-observe ng reality compels us to use the law of logic in that sense.
Pero ang question ko kasi kanina, created ba siya? Sabi mo, oo. So, if yes, how?
No, not created by humans na actively, no. Baga, what I meant by created is all humans gumagamit ng laws of logic para i-describe yung common reality na sinishare nila. If yung reality na sinishare nila is common, that way, meron tayong uniformity doon in a sense that lahat ng na-perceive ng bawat humans sa mundong to is uniform. Kasi we are sharing the same reality. And that's why it's universal.
Yeah.
Kasi wala namang taong nasa kabilang universe, di ba? We do not have another human being on another another universe with another set of laws. We are all sharing the same universe na mayroong consistency ng reality natin.
Yeah.
That's why yung pag-describe natin sa kanya is absolute.
Yeah, how did you know that?
Papasok mo ako sandali lang. Kasi may mga questions yung mga ating viewers kasi parang naguguluhan sila. Ano bang contention dito? Kasi ba't parang napaulit-ulit na yung question ng Christian at saka paulit-ulit na din yung answer ng atheist, and what's the contention here? Ang para sa akin, ang contention dito is both of them have different worldviews.
Yes.
Si Christian is holding on to a Christian worldview that he believes transcends the naturalistic worldview, which is the naturalistic worldview.
Yes.
Ultimately grounds to the Christian God.
That's right. Pwede bang sumingit?
Yun lang yun lang ang aking pure observation. And naturalism is purely based on evidence and observation, and that's what
that's what grounds it.
That's where it is ground. And Sir Mar is trying to critique the Christian God through naturalism, and that's
which is wrong. Which is wrong.
That's also one thing na nakikita ni Sir Jordan na but ganun. We have to conform with the laws of the Christian God in order to critique the Christian God. Tama ba ako, Sir Jordan?
Ang nature kasi ng internal critique is that you must grant first the worldview of that person and do internal critique. So, if ang understanding ni Sir Mar sa omniscience, omnipresent, is that how can God be present here and present there at the same time and in the same sense, yan ay violations of laws of logic. Basically, that's not the understanding of omnipresent in the Christian worldview. Now, paano mangyayari yon to have consistency? So, Sir Mar should grant the truth of the Christian worldview para maunawaan niya na, oo nga pala, hindi pala contradictory. Now, sa case naman ni Sir Mar, kung i-grant ko ang pangalan nito, ang naturalistic idea niya, kaya nga tinanong ko kanina if laws of logic are merely conventions or creations, actually hindi ko pa na-dig deeper sino ang nag-create, paano na-create, sana ma-deal natin mamaya, how can it be universal? Granting the naturalistic presupposition. So yun lang yung ano doon, para maunawaan ng mga audience natin yung nature ng internal critique.
Yeah. Sir Mar, you were trying to say something kanina while I was talking. Sige.
Yung yung tag dito, yung sinabi mo kanina, Sir Zuriel, perfectly illustrates what is happening here, no. So, Sir Jordan, ang nangyari is ang naglalaban dito is yung worldview natin yung naturalism versus theism.
Yep.
Ngayon, agree ako dun sa internal critique. I'm trying my best to get into the Christian worldview and
Thank you.
dito, and tinitingnan yung bawat definition ng mga characteristics na yon. And earlier, sabi mo kanina, sir, nung tinanong kita na paano natin nalaman yung characteristics ni God na yun, is through personal revelation. So, ang nangyari dito, sir, is yung the very nature of God that you proclaim is the source of all consistency of the laws of nature. Mm-hmm. You rely on your personal revelation. Kumbaga, hindi ko rin maisip kung
personal revelation.
Ano ba, sir? Divine revelation or personal revelation?
Yeah, divine revelation. Iba yung personal revelation sa divine revelation.
How do you differentiate divine revelation from
personal revelation is yung God actually talks to me and personal niyang nire-reveal sa akin yung kanyang mga sinasabi and hindi namin pinaniniwalaan yon dahil kompleto na po ang Biblia. So what we have right now is the divine revelation of God, revealed word of God. So doon namin nalalaman ang kung paano niya ni-reveal ang kanyang sarili.
That still gives me nothing as a starting point. Kumbaga,
pero yun nga.
Ano ang nature ng divine revelation? How does it work? What does it looks like? Ano ang naririnig mo or nakikita mo bilang patunay na this is a revelation and this is divine and this comes from the specific Christian God?
Well, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, a rejection of the Christian God leads someone's worldview into absurdity. The impossibility of the contrary.
Pero you employ possibility of the contrary as para siyang argument from personal incredulity. Para siyang I can't do this therefore X.
No?
Parang ganun.
Strawman yan.
Kasi ang sinasabi ko nga kanina, sir, yun nga yung discussion natin kanina If the Christian worldview is false, hindi natin mag-ground yung laws of logic and nature.
Yep.
And yun yung ginagawa ko kanina. So, kumaga, yung claim mo, sir, na kapag false ang Christian worldview, wala nang grounds ang logic.
Walang foundation.
Walang foundation ng logic. Could be falsified by just a single person grounding his or her logic in something else other than God. And I grounded it through naturalism. Now, pwede tayong bumalik dun, sir, para ma-i-expound ko on how I grounded it.
Yeah, and I will repeat the question. If it is just created, paano ito magiging universal?
Yun nga. Naku, ulitin ko.
And how can you know, dagdagan ko lang, and how can you know na universal na ito? Kasi what happens inside your brain is not what's happening inside my brain. So, paano mo nalalaman na laws of logic ang tumatakbo sa isipan ko ngayon?
Alright,
Hindi,
so sandali lang sir. I will give you time na naman. Okay, so sir,
apo.
may mga naguguluhan kasi ng viewers natin. Why are we talking about this? Viewers, we're talking about our methods of epistemology or yung methods namin of how we conclude that this is the truth or this is the best answer to these questions. So before we can go to the Christian God topic, specifically talk about the Christian God, we have to talk about the epistemology muna kasi that's the main contention of Sir Mar na he does not agree that God is the ultimate grounding for this preconditions of intelligibility na present kanina ni Sir Jordan ng Christian side. Alright, so Sir Mar, continue.
Yun nga,
Yep.
basically yung tanong mo Sir Jordan kanina no, na kumaga hindi ko na malalaman yung utak mo, the same way hindi mo rin nalalaman yung utak ko.
Yep.
So I can throw the question back at you and say
But
yung pag sinasabi, wait lang sir, pag
Sige.
sinasabi ni I know I'm quoting Simon Kate, ewan ko kung agree ka dito sir na all humans know God that exists, they just deny it. You're also implying that you know and Simon Kate knows what's going on in the minds of others. So doon nagkakaroon ng parang confirmation bias dito sir. I can't assert kung anong nalalaman ng isang kabilang tao, but a Christian can assert the same thing dahil lamang they claim na all people know God. Maga hindi yun katanggap-tanggap sir para sa akin.
yeah, kasi nga gaya ng sabi ko sa iyo kanina, I will challenge you in an internal worldview critique. And kaya hindi mo yan tinatanggap is because you are doing an external critique, which is kahit ako kung may sasabihin ka, hindi ko rin talaga tatanggapin yan. But again, yun yung flow yun yung nature ng transcendental argument. Kailangan gumawa tayo ng internal critique. Now, sabi mo kanina, pwede mong ibalik yung question kasi hindi ko alam yung nasa isip mo, but we have an all-knowing God, a transcendent God who revealed to us such that we can know things for certain that you know God exists.
Yun nga sir.
So yun yung difference natin dalawa. Yun yung difference natin dalawa. Now, saglit lang.
Okay.
Now, saglit lang. If you grant the truth of my worldview, nakikita mo, it makes sense. But since na hindi mo siya pinapayagan within your worldview kasi you're standing on your own presuppositions, ang kailangan lang naman mangyari dito para magkaroon ng resolution is to conduct an internal critique. I hope na malinaw na yun ngayon.
Yun nga, I'm agreeing with the internal critique, sir. And frankly, yun din naman yung ginagawa ko kanina, sir. Kasi ang nangyari doon sa flow na kanina tinanong ko nga yung sa divine revelation from God, yun yung tinuturo mong dahilan kung paano mo nalaman yung mga bagay na alam mo, including the existence of God.
Yep.
Pero kahit pumunta ako doon sa internal critique mo, sir, hindi ko pa rin ma-pinpoint kung paano mo yun ma-justify or ma-ensure. Paano mo, saan galing yung divine revelation na yun? How can you be certain for it? Sige, ganito sir. Gawa ko ng line of questioning. Kaya, ang isang tao ba, posible ba na ang human being can sincerely not believe in the Christian God?
Can sincerely not believe in the Christian God? Yeah, kaya meron tayong mga unbelievers.
Pero
even though they know the one true God, they suppress.
Ayun nga.
Yeah.
Sige sir. Can a human being sincerely not know the Christian God exists?
What do you mean by no?
Wala silang information na natanggap na ito si God, ang pangalan niya ay Jesus, itong characteristics niya. Meron bang ganong human beings na walang ka-ide-ideya kung sino itong Christian God na to?
Well, sa Christian worldview, ang ni-reveal sa amin ng Panginoon na all human beings know God exists.
Ayun nga sir. Ang
Yep.
ang nangyari nga sir is doon ka pa rin pumupunta sa divine revelation mo para i-justify all the other things. And
kasi meron kaming revelational epistemology kung tawagin.
Paano natin yun ma-achieve, sir?
Doon namin justify kung how do we know what we know. Now, now from the naturalistic point of view, ano ang ontological or metaphysical context nila and epistemological foundation nila? How can they know things?
Yun nga, hindi ko pa rin na kukuha yung sagot doon kasi I still have no idea how to account for that divine revelation. Bakit yung ibang tao hindi nila alam, genuinely they do not know Yahweh and Jesus.
How do you know
the
that?
mere idea of Christianity.
How do you know that?
Because there are known tribes sa tag dito sa mundo natin which are uncontacted. So by definition, hindi pa sila na-evangelize. And also, we must appeal to history. Kumbaga, ancient history, sir, ancient Egypt, they live for over 4,000 years. They do not have any idea who Jesus Christ is. Wala silang ganung divine revelation. So, kumbaga, yung claim ng isang precept apologist na all humans know that God exists is just false because one look in history and just observation from the real world disproves that. Kaya doon ko nakikita yung folly nung inyong appeal from the divine revelation kasi if God divine really revealed to you na alam lahat ng tao na nag-exist siya, clearly that is false.
When you say false, you presuppose truth that you cannot account. Now, kapag meron akong sasabihin na, for example, meron isang tribe at nagpadala ng isang missionary at nagsabi na, uy, ito pala yung, actually, Seitenberg and Kate, tell me this story na nung nag-send ng missionary, ito pala yung Diyos na matagal ko nang hinahanap. So, kumbaga, if mag-a-appeal ako sa fallacy ad populum, if gagawin ko yon, walang patutunguhan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon.
Exactly,
babalik pa rin ako doon sa challenge ko, Sir Mar. Internal critique. How can you account for universal, transcendent, unchanging laws in your worldview?
Yun,
napapalayo tayo eh.
I'm in the danger of repeating myself so many times here. Pero
hindi kasi hindi kasi na point yung kasi 'di ba ginagrant ko yung worldview mo. 'Di ba ginagrant ko yung worldview mo na given na ikaw ay naturalist, materialist, physicalist. At ang laws of logic para sa iyo is created. I don't know kung sino ito. Now, if this is just a creation, paano ito magiging universal? Kasi what's in my mind is hindi ito yung nangyayari din sa utak mo. So paano mo masasabi na laws of logic ang nag-govern sa thinking natin ngayon habang nag-uusap tayo? Universally.
Sige, i-structure ko ng maayos, sir. If you'll allow me few minutes na i-explain ko ng maayos, sir, no?
Go.
So, quoting Seitenberg and Cake again, all ultimate authority claims must prove themselves or else they lose that authority, no? So sa akin, kung magi-start ako sa naturalism, no, yung laws of logic themselves have proved itself to be the ultimate authority because of the impossibility of the contrary. So by that I mean, kapag kinontra ko yung the laws of logic, I will have to assume the laws of logic before I can contradict it. Therefore, hindi ko siya mailalaban. I'm forced to use the laws of logic based on the impossibility of the contrary. Tapos, yung tanong kanina, sir, na how can I be sure about the uniformity of nature? I have a reasonable amount of certainty that nature will be consistent. And we are no different than that. The difference is, I appeal to inductive reasoning via inference from past events, which gives me reasonable amount of certainty. Not absolute, a reasonable amount of certainty. But a precept apologist, a theist, gumagawa sila ng unnecessary extra step to insert God. Tapos, that's when they can declare absolute certainty, pero they will ultimately succumb to the supernatural claims, therefore defeating the uniformity of nature. Baga, ang nangyari dito, sir, is I look at the natural world. I see uniformity. I have no reason to believe na magiging non-uniform siya in the future. That's when I can ground it. But the theist side, they will proclaim a God na all-powerful, all-knowing, all-good, transcendent, if I may add so myself. Tapos, hindi siya bound sa natural laws. And then, the scripture itself proclaim miracles and supernatural events. That's when, doon ako nagtataka na yung occurrence nga ng supernatural event will defeat the purpose of uniformity of nature. Kasi hindi na siya uniform, nagbago na siya eh. Meron na nag-violate dun. So if I will choose between two worldviews, theism and naturalism, I will say na mas na-account ng naturalism yung uniformity ng nature kaysa sa theism.
Okay.
Yun yung basis ko.
Sige nga. Let's try that. Sabi ni David Hume, di ba? Babalikan ko yung opening statement ko.
Apo.
Sige, ganito lang. What is your foundation for believing that the future is like the past?
Through inference of observation of the natural world.
Observation presupposes past experiences.
Apo.
At sabi ni David Hume, hindi yan yung sagot na kailangan nila.
Only if you are looking for absolute certainty. I'm not into that. Kumbaga, meron akong, ang sabi ko nga sa salita ko kanina, so reasonable amount of certainty. If you're familiar with the principle of particularism na,
Yep.
kumbaga, particularism states that hanggat wala tayong rason para i-doubt ng isang bagay, yun ang, kumbaga, hindi natin ito papakilamanan. Kumbaga, para siyang if it ain't broke, don't fix it, di ba? So yun yung sa akin. Give me one reason why I should doubt the uniformity of nature and I will do so. Pero if I observe the natural world, see no miracles, see no supernatural, see that in the future gravity still works, in the future the laws of nature will still works.
Yep.
Dun pa lang grounded na ako reasonably within a reasonable amount of certainty, hindi absolute na mag-work sila. That's my foundation.
So, if hindi yan absolute, paano siya naging foundation?
Pwede yun, sir.
Pwede yun? So, hindi mo alam, because ang nangyayari...
Mali yung word na hindi alam, sir. Meron akong knowledge based on a reasonable amount of certainty.
Okay, how many percent? How many percent of certainty?
Hindi, ang pangit naman kung ika-quantify. Reasonable amount. Alam natin yung colloquial sense ng reasonable amount.
Siguro,
take for
consensus,
example,
parang ganun.
Hindi, kasi...
Not even consensus.
When you say...
Reasonable amount of certainty as in, yun appealing to particularism na hindi ko to i-doubt kasi wala naman akong rason para i-doubt to eh.
Yeah, kasi
So,
nga,
if you
it
will
always
say
has been. Yeah, kasi nga, it always has been.
Oo.
So,
if you will say to me, nalilipad ako bukas dahil mawala ang gravity, bigyan mo muna ako ng patunay para paniwalaan ko yun. Else, I will appeal to my past experiences in disproving you.
So wala kang sagot doon sa problem of induction.
Wala.
So granting your worldview, same dilemma ni Bertrand Russell na wala kayong justification for knowing that the future will be like the past. It's just cause, or it always has been. So hindi mo na satisfy yung demand ni Bertrand Russell at ni David Hume na we don't want that answer.
I don't need to. Yun yung kanina kong pang pinopoint out, sir, na...
So, paano kung sabihin ko sa'yo na the Christian God exists and I don't need to prove that He exists?
Wala akong masasabi doon.
Yun. So, the same way, kung i-follow ko yung line of reasoning na yun, walang mangyayari. So, ang kaya nga, ang hinihingi... Kaya nga ang hinihingi ni... Sige.
Kasi ang claim, sir, nga mas comply with the reasonable amount of certainty. So kung i-claim mo, sir, na God exists, tatanungin ko muna, ano bang klase ito? Sino siya? Paano siya nag-operate? Anong characteristics niya? Then kung i-define mo siya, I can use those characteristics in order to make a justifiable reason kung nag-exist pa siya o hindi, using the information that I have. And the information that I have is supernatural events do not happen. Therefore, this God that you claim, ay wala akong dahilan para paniwalaan to.
Because again, you are not doing an internal worldview critique, which again, i-force kita na gawin 'yon kasi yun yung challenge ko sa iyo. in order for the laws of logic, truth, uniformity of nature to really make sense. And since tackle na natin yung uniformity of nature, at sabi mo nga na wala kang sagot doon sa foundation na hinihingi. What is our, sabi ni Bertrand Russell, what is our foundation for believing that the future will be like the past?
No,
Sabi mo,
no, sir. Nasabi ko na yung sagot doon kanina. The problem is when dealing with pre-sap apologists, with the atheists, they will always go to the absolute kasi yun yung dinedemand ng kanilang belief. Absolute.
Absolute.
Oo. And ang sinasabi ko, sir, is we don't need that in order to make sense of the world.
Is that absolutely true? That we don't need that? So no. So
No,
you have,
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, you have refuted your own self. You have.
I know. I haven't refuted myself, sir. I'm merely affirming my stance that pwede akong magkamali doon, pero as far as I know, this works.
So kung sasabihin ko sa iyo that
I don't need to proclaim some of my yung belief ko to be absolutely certain for me to uphold to it. Pwede akong magkamali sa mga bagay na alam ko, sir, pero as of now, it seems that they are correct.
Mhm.
Yun yung laban na natin, sir. Yun yung nakikita kong laban
Let me make a comment. Yeah, parang ganun ang nakikinig ko, Sir Mar, na he's like saying na it's their loss of logic or the loss of ang grounding ng kanilang belief systems, the naturalism was developed from the past and to the future. Like noon, ang belief nila was or the consensus of the world, not even consensus, pero marami din.
Conventions.
Flat Earth, then it became here ngayon na round pala yung Earth. But Sir Mar is not saying na sa lahat ng sinasabi niya is ultimately and absolutely true. This might be wrong, pero right now this is the best answer to these questions. Tama ako, Sir Mar?
Oo.
Yeah, that's blind faith. That's blind faith.
Ang meron akong tanong kay Sir Jordan.
Go.
Kasi he proclaims absolute certainty, di ba? Baka have you solved the problem of hard solipsism? How can you eliminate solipsism using presuppositional apologetics? And pwede ko tong i-break down.
I-flesh out mo sa
Kasi under solipsism, ang belief ng isang tao doon is that we are prisoners of our mind and our senses, no? Yung senses, parang the Matrix. Yung senses natin is just electrical signals in our brain. So kung ganun nga, paano na i-eliminate ng isang pre-sap apologetics na yung solipsism ay false, na hindi tayo utak lamang na nag-e-exist, or wala tayo sa matrix, hindi tayo simulation, hindi tayo programmed, and totoo talaga yung mga nararanasan natin. Paano to i-dismiss ng isang Christian and say, hey, this world exists and this God exists?
Okay, so if granting my worldview, if the God of the universe reveal things to us such that we can know things for certain by using our senses and reasoning, then I have a certain solution to the problem of hard solipsism. Alam ko na ngayon, kausap kita, hindi ako deceived ng aking mga senses. Alam ko na itong mga words na binibitawan ko ngayon will mean the same things in the future.
Pero pinrogram ka lang ng isang scientist sa kanyang computer. That means you do not exist. Paano mo na-eliminate yung ganang possibility?
Na-eliminate ko yun by the impossibility of the contrary nga. Without the Christian worldview, tingnan mo yung mangyayari. If you depart from the Christian worldview, you cannot escape really the problem of solipsism. Pero kung meron kang pero if you grant again internal worldview kritik tayo. If you grant the truth of my Christian worldview, that the God of the universe made us in His own image and likeness, reveal things to us such that we can know things for certain, including the validity of our senses, reasoning. So, by that, meron kaming foundation. By saying na, nandito kami, hindi kami deceived, walang nagko-control sa mind ko, elsewhere.
How do you know that? that's that divine revelation. Babalik tayo dun sa tanong ko kanina.
How do you know that? Ano?
Kasi it seems that all of the Christian worldview relies heavily, if not all, relies heavily on this divine revelation.
Yeah.
I still cannot grasp kung saan nang gagaling tong divine revelation to, and how can you prove to someone na walang divine revelation na totoo yung divine revelation mo?
Well, because the denial of it will reduce one's worldview into absurdity. At isa na nga ang hard solipsism doon na once you depart from the revelation of God, anong mangyayari? Magkakaroon ka ng iba't ibang klase ng pag-view sa reality. That includes Hinduism. Sabi ng Hindus, reality is Maya or reality is one. Reality is just an illusion. Pero pag pinitik mo yung ilong niya, magrereklamo siya kasi hindi pala illusion yun. So, in order to eliminate all possible realities, we must have an objective standard of truth, which is Jesus Christ.
Again, how do you account for that? I mean, nasaan yung...
Sinabi ko na nga sa iyo kanina, from the impossibility of the contrary, deny these things and your worldview is reduced to absurdity. At pinakita ko sa iyo kanina at sa mga audience natin na my opponent tonight, si Marpo ay gusto ko i-consider na tropa na, pero since nasa debate tayo, my opponent tonight doesn't have any foundation for believing that the nature is uniform. Ina-assume niya lang na uniform ang nature. Wala pa naman kasing changes, kagaya ng problem ni Bertrand Russell. So, wala silang foundation doon.
Hindi. I consider it to be a foundation kahit na assume lang siya through inductive reasoning.
Yeah, basically
hindi ko naman nilalaban yung absolute certainty. Pero pagdating sa Christian worldview, you employ absolute certainty, and hindi mo pa rin na justify, sir, how can you be absolutely certain na yung ni-reveal ni God divinely to you is truly a divine revelation and not something else. For example, if sa simula pa lang the devil has taken hold of your brain, and lahat nung kanyang pinasok sa utak mo is kanyang workings. Paano mo na sabi, sir, that it is the Christian God that gave you divine revelation and not someone else?
How can I eliminate all possible realities? Again.
Without the answer of, kumbaga reducing someone's worldview to an absurdity. Kasi as I see it, sir, I really, to be repetitive, I really see it as argument from personal incredulity.
No, kasi
in short, I can't imagine these things to happen without my worldview, therefore my worldview is correct.
No, kasi ang pinapakita doon sa explanation na yon is that a denial of the Christian worldview, sasabihin ko na lang, sige, hindi ko sasabihin. Pinapakita doon is yung state of mind natin. Hindi yon personal attack na, hoy, Mar, absurd ka. Yun, hindi ganon. Pinapakita rito na if you deny the Christian, the ontological nature of God as the foundation and His Word being the revelation, how we know things to be certain is marireduce talaga yung worldview sa something like that. Now, kaya nga very important yung argument ko kanina sa transcendental. If you grant the truth of the Christian worldview, at inexplain ko to kanina, inexplain ko kung sino si God, ano ang Diyos. If the God of the universe reveal reveal sa atin ng Panginoon, again, grant this worldview para magkaroon tayo ng liwanag. Kasi what you're still doing right now is doing an external critique. And ayoko na ganun yung mangyari kasi ang ginagawa ko sa iyo, I'm doing an internal critique. So, if the God of the universe reveal things such that we can know things for certain, the validity of our senses, reasoning, etc., etc. So, alam natin na ngayon, kausap kita, nakikipagdebate ako sa iyo, I am not being programmed by someone else, etc., etc. Pag lumabas ako ng pinto, magdadrive ako ng motor, I am certain na ganun ang nangyayari sa buhay ko. So, yun, we have, if you grant the truth of the Christian worldview, we have a solution sa hard solipsism. sa'yo, wala kayong solution doon.
Yeah. Kasi ang nangyari sir is you proclaim na walang tag dito na yung sa worldview ko sir is walang answer sa heart solipsism, and I accept that. Ang hindi natin ma-justify no is your position that under Christian theism you can account for eliminate the possibility of heart
Yes.
solipsism.
Yes.
Pero ito yung nature ng ano mo sir, ng belief mo sir, because you are a priest of apologist and you are not an evidentialist.
Yep.
So I guess sa mindset ko sir, what I'm really looking for is the evidence. Kasi ang nangyari dito sir, if I'm looking for evidence, pero gagawa ako pupunta tayo sa internal critique mo sir, na the Christian God exists. Tapos I will grant that. And then dahil nga nasa internal critique tayo so if nasa internal critique tayo, i-grant ko rin na hindi na ako maghanap ng evidence, then i-default ko yung sarili ko na maniwala sa God mo sir without ever really answering the question.
No, the nature of internal critique is that you don't necessarily to believe that it is true. You just grant that it is true and see if
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So ang nangyayari kasi,
granting your worldview to be true forces me to abandon my quest for evidentialism and just presuppose God. And if that happens, then parang ang pinaka shorthand nito is believe in me. Wala nang evaluation na mangyayari.
Alright.
That's the nature of transcendental argument actually.
You agree with that sir, di ba? Yun yung
Sandali
nature
lang.
Okay.
No.
Ito.
Sige.
I think we're spending too much time on this in this question but I think we can move on then if we do not address this one. So but sadly we have to move on. We don't have all day. So I will give you Sir Jordan his last take on this one in this specific problem, which is it really the absolute certainty? Is it possible or is it possible? Parang ganun.
To deny.
Also,
okay, sige.
Yeah. And also Sir Mar, try to address the specific or the contention here in his time. All right? Maybe siguro 5 minutes maximum for each side. And let's try to answer the question from the
answer
questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Sir Jordan, simulan mo na.
Ano yun?
Yung
try
mo to, sir? I-outline mo ulit.
I-outline mo yung bakit they have to believe you. What's absurd in the other side and what's really convincing on your side.
Okay, sige. Foundationally, why I believe that the Christian God is true from the impossibility of the contrary. At sinabi ko yun kanina that a denial of the Christian God will reduce one's worldview into something that you're not gonna like. So, a denial of it cannot have justification. A denial of the transcendent, universal, moral, logical God cannot account for uniformity. I believe, nag-agree si Mar doon na wala silang, para sa kanya, foundational na yung it always has been in the past. Wala pa namang changes na nangyari, so we expect that tomorrow the sun will still going to rise. Pero hindi daw siya, may level of certainty, tama ba ako, Sir Mar? Pero
reasonable amount of certainty.
May reasonable amount of certainty. I don't know what that means. Kailangan natin ma-validate yan if he's absolutely true doon. At if you have heard kanina, the answer is no. So if that's the case, then paano kung sabihin ko sa inyo na I believe that God exists, but there is just certain level of reasonable certainty. I'm not absolutely certain that He exists. So, ano mangyayari? So, that will be self-defeating on my part. But, since na hindi yun yung claim natin, we have foundations for believing that the laws of logic to be universal, binding, unchanging, and true everywhere outside of our preferences. Hindi po ito created, kundi ito ay nagre-reflect sa thinking ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Without the universal, transcendent mind of God, we cannot have laws of logic. Now, hindi po ibig sabihin nun na si Sir Mar ay hindi gumagamit ng laws of logic. Ang issue doon is accounting for the laws of logic. What must be the case in order for something to be the case? Yun yung kailangan nating masagot doon sa worldview if we grant the truth of atheistic worldview. We have foundation for truth. Basically, Jesus is the truth. And we have foundations for ethics. Hindi na namin napuntahan to. Sayang, but I hope... Yeah. Bukas na ba? Joking. So, I believe na masarap kausap si Mar within the context of Christianity. The metaphysical context of Christianity grants the foundation for ethics because we have a moral absolute standard of goodness, which is God Himself. We call evil, or we call something is evil because God defines what's evil. Okay? Outside of the Christian worldview, mangyayari sa atin dito is if we have a subjective morals, if other person has subjective morals and other person has subjective morals, alin doon sa dalawa ang magiging tama. So, sa amin, makakapag-judge kami, makakapag-condemn kami what's right and what's really wrong. Because again, we have a foundation for believing in these things. Now, a denial of absolutes, ay magkakaroon tayo ng self-defeating statement dyan. If you deny absolute, for example, I deny absolute and I ask you, are you absolutely certain of that? And you said yes, then you have just refuted your own statement. So, thank you po.
Alright. Sir Mar, ikaw na naman.
Okay, so siguro final address na to kay Sir Jordan and sa lahat, no. Napakagandang kausap ni Sir Jordan. Marami akong natututunan. Kasi yun naman yung actually may personal purpose sa pagsagawa ng mga ganung klaseng discussion is to learn more about my former beliefs and to try to disprove myself and also to understand the other side's worldview about that. Ang nangyari, sir, is nagkakaroon tayo ng disconnect pagdating sa purpose natin and sa kung ano ang hinahanap natin sa ating kausap pagdating sa existence of God. Kasi I will say this na nasabi ko na kanina pa, sir, is yung admission ko kanina na we do not need absolute certainty to ground something into para maging ground sa ating foundation. Ang sabi ni Sir Jordan, kapag hindi ako absolutely certain dun sa bagay na yun is magiging refutation siya. That's simply not the case. It is for me just an acceptance na hindi ko pa alam ang lahat ng mga bagay sa mundo. Pero yung existing information na nandito sa sa reality natin does not reflect the concepts of the Christian worldview. So doon ako nagkakaroon ng doubt, no. Kaya
we have Bible studies.
Sabi nga ni Saiten Brugenkick, hindi siya nakikipag-Bible study sa mga non-believers. Pero forget that. Ang sa akin, sir, is basically it boils down to two things, di ba? Naturalism and theism. And kanina, and sa naturalism, I guess ang isa pang disconnect namin ni Sir Jordan is I am primarily an evidentialist and not a precept apologist. And hindi ako nag-iisa sa ganitong klaseng stance, no. I think Sir Jordan will also acknowledge that certain apologists, certain theists hindi din sila sang-ayon sa method ng precept kasi they too are evidentialist. And so pagdating doon, nagkakaroon kami ng pagkakaiba. Kasi hinihingan ko si Sir Jordan ng basihan niya doon sa divine revelation niya, which he granted, i-tackle na natin sa question, pero he granted na yung divine revelation from God is the basic pinaka pundasyon niya para malaman kung ano yung truth, kung ano yung science, kung ano yung nature, kung ano yung morals, no? And ang sa akin kasi ang nakapukpok sa utak ko is things that do not exist cannot be the cause of things that already exist. So if we try to root our morals, our science, our logic, things that already exist into something na hindi pa napapatunayan na nag-exist, which is the Christian God, na hindi naman binigyan ni Sir Jordan ng evidence kasi hindi naman siya evidentialist, then ang mangyayari dito is pwede siyang gamitin ng lahat. A
No.
Muslim can say the same thing about precept. Sabihin niya Allah is the foundation and hindi mo siya hanapan ng evidence kasi precept siya, 'di ba? And about the absolute certainty of that, even famous apologists have conceded, like William Lane Craig and Frank Turek, na yung kanilang classical arguments like cosmological arguments, teleological arguments, you know, they have admitted na yung mga arguments na yun are merely arguments that na nakapagpadagdag ng probability na mayroong God, no? Hindi rin sila nagke-claim ng absolute certainty. Kasi all we have kapag we are dealing with evidence is our interpretation of it, and as new information comes along,
Minute left, sir.
doon na tayo magkakaroon ng avenue for change or avenue for improvement. That is the nature of the naturalist position, is meron siyang avenue for improvement. Hindi siya by definition hindi siya pwedeng mag-declare ng absolute certainty kasi our senses are incomplete, 'di ba? Tawag dito, optical illusions pa nga lang naloloko na tayo na kung nakita niyo yung mga optical illusions na kahit anong tingin mo sa ganto ganyan, talagang makikita mo kung ano yung illusion, hindi yung totoo, 'di ba? Tapos mag-a-appeal tayo sa absolute certainty because of divine revelation that even Sir Jordan cannot really describe what it is. Ang nilalaban niya lang is without this divine revelation, everything should be false. And sa akin as an evidentialist, hindi siya tanggap-tanggap. So,
Alright.
yun yung disconnect namin, and I hope the audience does understand what's happening here, and kumbaga, let's just leave the interpretation to the audience kung sino ang may mas ground papunta dito.
Yeah. All right. So, the audience or viewers, I'm encouraging you to send questions directly sa page. I have few questions here na. So, I think I think I cannot make too much here kasi I'm reading kasi sa kanilang comments that they want to clarify things daw.
Sige.
But it's hard for me to comment and answer questions from each side, not too much to make me take sides. Like kasi kung I will answer the Sir Mars side and Sir Jordan side, then I will have basically to take sides. So what I'm trying to do is encourage you to question kung anong hindi clear sa inyo kasi it seems like you don't know kung anong point nila kasi wala kayong background sa religious philosophy. It's not their problem na. It's your problem na because you have watched a religious philosophical debate kaya hindi nyo naiintindihan. For me, it's very clear kung anong contention nila. They seem to provide question but they do not arrive on a certain plane. So I'm question you. I'm encouraging you to send questions. All right, so let's do this. First question is from I forgot his name. Sandali lang. Sir Mikey lang. Ito ko Sir Mikey muna. Ito, Sir Mikey was former debater here. Shout out Sir Mikey. Tropa to tropa namin.
Nating lahat.
Alright. Tropa nating lahat. Alright, ito.
Mas close kami niyan.
Ay, grabe.
Ayun, so ito. Question to Sir Mar. Is the laws of gravity created or discovered by man? If discovered, how can he differentiate the laws of gravity to laws of logic? Both are being descriptive laws.
Okay. So, finally may nagbanggit ng descriptive laws, no, na hindi ko nabanggit kanina. So, define ko lang yung descriptive laws. Descriptive laws is yung law na basically description siya about the natural world. So, things like the uh, law of motion, di ba? Law of gravity. They are descriptive kasi scientists have formulated these laws para i-describe kung ano yung na-perceive nila sa reality, di ba? So, kung sasagutin ko yung sagot ni Sir Mickey, the law of gravity is something that is is created to describe the actual factual reality of gravity. Bibigyan ko ang audience ng example, no. Nung nung ancient Greeks, no, mga time ni Aristotle, no, yung gravity is not understood. Meron tayong laws of motion na ang proclamation ni Aristotle doon na nakikita niya yung natural world na pagka may isang bagay na gumagalaw, kailangan mag-input ka pa ng puwersa para gumalaw pa siya ng gumalaw, di ba? Newton, no, dinescribe niya na hindi, laws of motion, iba yan sa dinidescribe ni Aristotle. Sabi niya sa laws of motion, pag gumagalaw isang bagay, gagalaw at gagalaw to unless acted upon by an external force. Tapos, ganun din yung ginawa niya sa gravity. Ang gravity, ginawa niya ng formula based on yung observation niya dun sa apple and the moon. Diba? So, in that way, naging descriptive yung law about the factual nature of gravity, which is always there. Ang nangyari, we are improving our descriptive laws to account for that. That's why I'm saying that it's created. Yung laws of gravity na finormulate ni Newton, it won't work on the quantum level. What will work on the quantum level? Yung universal theory of gravitation ni Albert Einstein, na on the quantum level, kahit sa mga sobrang maliliit na parts, nade-describe pa rin niya yung gravitational interaction between two particles. So, ang nangyari, hindi naman niya dinisprove yung descriptive laws ni Newton. He improved on it, expounded on it, based on the available information that is current at the time. So, ang nangyari, it is a constant creation of new descriptions of new laws para i-describe yung actual factual nature of reality. And yun yung kanina pinag-usapan namin ni Sir Jordan. The descriptive laws are different from the facts of reality.
All right. Okay. So here's the question for Sir Jordan. I think napakasarap mag-answer while
bigyan natin ng chance si Sir
saying.
Jordan na mag-i-address yun if he wants to.
Oh yeah, if you want to know, sir, you can address.
Well, I think naipaliwanag ko na kung ano yung mga certain laws, and we assume that the laws of gravity are there. Pero again, the question is, what must be the case in order for something to be the case? If walang justification ang naturalistic view dyan, then blind faith yan.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Nandun na yan kanina, sinabi niya why. And here. Here's the question from Aaron Gibaw. I'm sorry if I have mistakenly pronounced your name. Aaron Gibaw. To the Christian apologist, in what ways does atheism or naturalism borrow concepts from the Christian worldview?
Pardon me? Pakiulit nga.
To the Christian apologist or to Sir Jordan, in what ways does atheism or naturalism borrow concepts from the Christian worldview?
Simple lang. When my opponent tonight cannot account the universality of laws of logic, the uniformity of nature, he's just assumed that it will be like what happens in the future will be like the past. Kung naniniwala tayo sa mga bagay na yon at walang foundation yon, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, ito ay blind faith. And kung si Christian worldview ay merong foundation for that, then that is a clear borrowing from the Christian worldview. Since ang Christian worldview lang ang kayang mag-satisfy ng necessary preconditions for intelligible human experience. So, yun lang po.
I think that was very clear na ha. Pinag-usapan natin yan kanina, tapos inulit lang niya.
Okay lang yan.
So, here.
May respond ata si ano? May respond si
Oh yeah. Sir
Mar.
Mar, do you want to talk about this,
Ang
question?
una ko man sabi is si Sir Aaron Gibaw. Kilala ko yan. Way back in 2016, nag-participate ako sa kanyang church. Alam ko 2016 yun. Alam ko 2017, no? Na tag dito. Gusto rin niya yung mga gantong discussions. Inimbitahan niya ako sa church niya to to describe my atheism to his fellow Christians, and I'm glad na na-discover din ni Sir Aaron tong page na to. And sa comment naman ni Sir Jordan, yun nga, if I may risk myself of repeating myself again, ang disconnect namin dito, sir, is the evidence. So, ang nangyari sa statement ni Sir Jordan, kung ang atheism, naturalism cannot account for the Christian worldview, sabi niya by default, cannot account for the laws of nature, logic, etc. Then by default, preconditions of intelligibility. Then by default, yung kanyang position ay correct. Which is, me as a naturalist, hindi yun acceptable, kasi nga what I'm looking for is the actual justification kung bakit yun. Hindi siya basta magde-default lang. Yun.
Okay. So here's the question for Sir Mar. Question is, what natural law or natural forces can produce information based on empirical evidence and not received through faith?
Ulit. Medyo naging choppy.
What natural law or natural forces can produce information based on empirical evidence and not received through faith?
What natural law?
Para kay Mar ba talaga yan?
Kaya nga parang nakakaano eh. Ulitin mo ulit yung tanong.
I think it's applicable for both sides eh. Yeah, right here. What natural law or natural forces can produce information based on empirical evidence and not received through faith? I think he's trying to suppose na you're saying na you don't have you're claiming absolute truth on these natural laws, and these natural laws does not connect you or does not necessarily connect you to the Christian God that Sir Jordan supposes.
Hindi, sa akin yung tanong, di ba? Kasi ang pagkakaintindi ko dun sa...
Yeah, that's basically the question.
Ang pagkakaintindi ko dun sa tanong is that naghahanap siya ng pinraise, natural law or...
Ang hirap kasi parang...
sana tinagalog na lang.
Sige,
since this is not our first language.
Hindi, sige, I will answer it based on my interpretation of the question. No?
Yeah,
the audience should formulate their questions better the next time. Pero ang sa akin, ang nakikita kong tinatanong niya is magbibigay ako ng natural law or fact na that can account for information about the natural law, parang gano'n. Last time, ulitin mo for the last time.
Move on.
Sige, move on.
Move on na lang tayo. Ito na lang question na to. I think this is also interesting for Sir Mark. Kasi ito rin tanong ko sa kanya, yung nagkaroon kami ng discussion. Why not be agnostic since you're not able to prove atheistic naturalism? Naturalism fails to establish its foundation. You should be agnostic whether or not God exists. This question was from Aaron Twazan Schellenberger. I don't know.
German to Okay,
Schellen.
So I really don't buy anymore into that labels. Dati obsessed ako sa mga ganun labels, agnostic, atheism. Pero I've already stated my view. So kung sa tingin niya agnostic ako, di okay lang sa akin. Actually, ang label ko sa sarili ko is agnostic atheist. I do not believe, therefore I'm an atheist. I do not believe because I lack the necessary information to believe, and that's being agnostic. Hindi siya mutually exclusive. Pero yun yung position ko. Kung anong label na i-ano mo doon, okay lang. Basta do not misrepresent my position.
Alright, okay. So, ano pa ba? Yung mga nagtatag sa akin, hindi ko na mahanap yung mga questions sa daming nagko-comment. So please, again, message the page, alright? So here, for both daw, sir. Pero sir, ay Sir Jordan, do you want to say something about that? Kung ano,
Hindi ko na,
kung ano interpretation mo dun sa question.
no,
Hindi
no,
na
no,
siguro move on
hindi
na
na,
lang.
hindi na.
Ito for both daw. So ito lang sir, siguro Sir Jordan. How can one perform an internal critique without resorting to one's personal worldview?
Well, impossible. Kasi the nature of internal critique is that you need to grant the truth of that worldview in order for you to make sense or know kung, for example, ang laws of logic ba ay intelligible. For example, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, the Christian God, uh, because we have a transcendent, universal, moral God, we can account for transcendent, universal, logical absolutes, morality. At ang Panginoon din ay nagbigay ng certain uniformity sa nature. We can account for that. Ni-reveal niya sa kanyang salita, and again, gaya ng sinasabi ni Sir Mar na wala daw kaming justification dito, again, we can justify this from the impossibility of the contrary. Deny this, you'll affirm this. Affirm this, and you'll affirm this. A denial of the Bible as the Word of God will reduce someone's worldview into something like that, something that you really don't like. And ano pa ba? Yun ang nature ng internal worldview critique eh. So, para magkaroon talaga tayo, hindi effective na, kasi si Mar ang hinahanap evidence, at pinaliwanag ko sa opening statement ko kanina na evidence is subject to one's worldview presupposition. And basically, yun yung ginagawa niya, throwing sticks outside of my worldview instead of going to my worldview and internally critique it. I believe yun yung ginagawa ko kay Sir Mar.
Alright, okay. Paulit-ulit na ako dito, pero please wag kayo sa comment section magtatanong. Since may nagde-debate din sa comment section, supporters ng both sides, please send the questions na lang, alright? So here, may nakita kong recent comment lang, ibabasahin ko na lang. Since you admitted that there's no answer to hard solipsism, no, Sir Mar haven't yet answered that question pala. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So Sir Mar,
respond siya.
how
Sige,
can
ano lang.
one perform an internal critique without resorting to one's personal worldview?
Sige, very short lang, no. Sa discussion ng presuppositionalism versus naturalism, I think it will be impossible to have an internal critique without without defaulting, kumbaga. Kasi let's take for example, kunwari, creationism versus evolution, no. Pag creationism versus evolution, typically you look at the same evidence, and then using your different worldview, magdidiskusyon kayo doon. You can you can perform internal critique about that by granting the position of the other, but without defeating your position. Pagdating sa presup versus naturalism, that cannot happen kasi nga the presup doesn't fill in evidence. Ang gagawin niya is yung yung kanyang presupposition ay kanyang i-insist such that kung ikaw ay magi-internal critique, so aaminin mo na lang sa kanya na kung itong God na to ay nag-e-exist at nakakapagpa-reveal siya divinely sa isang tao, pag umuo ko doon, tapos hindi na ako makakapag chance na maghanap, nasan ba yung evidence ng divine revelation na to? Kasi dinefault ko na yung sarili ko, ginrant ko na nag-divinely reveal siya without ever challenging it. So I think dito sa nature ng discussion na to, it's impossible to have an internal critique about it.
Alright, here. Here's a question from Ross Petalver. As an evidentialist, this is question to Sir Mara. As an evidentialist, how can you give an account to what is true or false, especially since you've mentioned that you can be wrong about something? Is there such a thing as an empirical evidence to say that something is true and an empirical evidence to say that something is false?
Mm. Sa akin yung tawag dito, sa definition ko ng truth which also Sir Jordan agreed to is truth is that which conforms to reality. If
Actually, hindi.
truth is that Okay, sige, yung sa akin na lang. Hindi, hindi,
Okay.
hindi ko nadadamay si Sir Jordan. No? So, yun yung sa akin. The truth is a statement that conforms with reality. So, kung ikitreat ko yung isang truth statements, kunwari, yung classic example na proposition, all men are mortal, di ba? Wala tayong choice doon but to employ inductive reasoning. Hindi mo naman ma-observe lahat ng men na nabuhay sa mundong to kung mortal ba sila or immortal, di ba? So, you use your observation in order to make an truth statement and then justified siya kasi nag-conform siya dun sa reality na ni-refer mo.
Alright, okay.
Yan.
So, do we have another question ba? Wait, here's
Respond.
one.
Ako.
Ikaw, gusto mo mag-respond? Ayun, sige, respond na lang. Just,
Well, nabanggit ni Mar yung employ inductive reasoning, which again, he cannot justify without begging the question. So, siguro, yun lang yung comment ko doon.
okay. Alright, what else? There was a question here, no? Nawala naman sa comment section kasi si Len. Ano ba? ito, may bagong dating na question. Kasi we're going to spend maybe 5 minutes more on answering these questions na lang.
Yeah,
Kasi
Sure.
2 hours na tayo.
2 hours na tayo. We started 5 minutes, tapos we're on the 2 hours and 5 minute mark. 5 minutes mark. So, we're probably ending it soon. Oh, wala palang question. Alright, baby, yun na yan. Siguro, let's end na lang. Takeaways nyo and siguro shoutouts or anong hoping nyo for...
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks. How would this be much better next time kung anong mas magandang topic natin na pag-usapan next time. Alright, so let's start with Sir Mar na naman ngayon. Sir Mar.
Okay, so once again, salamat kay Sir Jordan for participating, Sir Zuriel for creating the platform kung saan pwede ito mangyari, and to the audience na naging lively yung debate by using those type of questioning. So again, ang tanong natin sa gabing ito is, does the Christian God exist, diba? And I think kaya namin ginawa tong debate na to ni Sir Jordan is because we really have different methods of coming to that conclusion, no? Very different in such a way that me as an evidentialist, I will always look for the evidence before anything else. And Sir Jordan, ang hinahanap na is the justification nung kabilang side para mai-address niya na since the other side cannot account for the things na hinahanap niya, therefore by default yun yung kanyang worldview must be correct. And maraming disconnect na nangyari, pero ang siguro naging take away natin sa discussion na to is that naging fruitful yung discussion in a way na maraming natutunan yung audience and nagkaroon tayo ng mas magandang insight sa isa't isa, Sir Jordan and me. And pagdating naman sa methods of knowing whether God exists, the Christian God exists or not, I'm afraid I will have to stick to the evidentialist method of the naturalism. Diba? Kasi tulad nga nung pinunto ko kanina, yung implications in accepting the supernatural will always throw your notion that nature is constant. Dahil once na inaccept mo na merong God tapos supernatural siya, then inaccept mo na rin na pwede mag-change ng reality. And walang ganyang room dito sa naturalism, because naturalism, by definition, tinatanggal niya yung ganung ano eh. And yun yung principle ng Occam's razor, no? The law of parsimony, ang the beauty of it is sinisimplify niya yung propositions mo para wala ka ng external baggage. And by external baggage, I mean yung supernatural claims ka, di ba? Hindi siguro sa next debate natin ni Sir Jordan na lang to, pero yung
Sana may ibang atheist din.
siguro pero to tell you the truth, I'm afraid that konti lang yung may interest sa ganitong klaseng discussion, because they do not at least do the intellectual responsibility to study the philosophy of both sides. Kaya
Kilala ako.
di ba? Kaya unfortunately ganun siya, di ba? So, ayun, sana meron pang iba pang debate wherein ma-address natin yung supernatural baggage of theism, no? Dahil in my worldview, once you grant the theism truth, then all will be lost, di ba? Ethics will be lost kapag merong theism. Science will be lost if merong theism. Morality and laws of nature will be lost kapag merong theism. Dahil meron kang transcendent, omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent God that can do anything, and hindi natin na-describe ng maayos kung ano ba tong God na to. I mean, over the course of the debate, I want to find out how Sir Jordan can know kung nasaan yung divine revelation na yun. And hindi tayo nakakuha ng I guess hindi ko nakuha yung sagot na gusto ko because I am an evidentialist, diba? And nagde-default lang dun sa diba? So, I guess yun yung the thing that separates us, diba? And sa akin, personally, I really want to know why, diba? Being a former Christian, I want not answer dun sa mga questions na talagang bumagabag sa akin, and that still prevents me from becoming a born again Christian in general.
Uy, may galit. Joke lang.
Hindi naman.
Okay,
ayun,
so
I guess that's it.
All right. So, Sir Jordan?
Okay. So, by closing, again, the Christian God exists, and the proof of the Christian God or the Christian worldview is that if the Christian worldview is false, then you cannot prove anything. So, basically, my opponent doesn't understand what an internal critic is. Pag sinabing internal critic kasi is, hindi mo po i-give up ang worldview mo, or else, i-give up ko rin ang pagiging Christianity ko. Hindi po. You simply grant that person's worldview is true, and then ask questions about those preconditions of intelligibility. Yun po ang nature ng transcendental argument. Or para makita natin yung transcendental necessity ng isang bagay, magwo-work kaya ito sa worldview ng Christianity, or magwo-work kaya ito sa worldview ng naturalist, materialist. So, based sa nakita natin, they just assume na nag-exist ito, assume na universal ito dahil na-observe natin na universal, gumagamit ng logic, bawat isa. And the uniformity of nature, dahil wala pang nangyayaring kakaiba in the future, ngayon, therefore we assume that it always has been at wala silang sagot sa problem of induction. Sinabi ko nga kanina, merong tinatanggap na foundation si Mar pero hindi siya nagbibigay. Meron siya tinatawag na reasonable certain amount of certainty, but hindi ito absolute. But then again, if itanong natin, are you absolutely correct about that assertion or about that foundation? Ano kaya may sasagot niya? If no, I think ang sagot niya kanina, I know, I need to review that. So, it is also important na nilay down ko kanina, sana napakinggan ni Mar sa opening statement ko, na ang evidence is subject to one's person's presupposition. So basically, evidence doesn't work in a transcendental argument. Di ba? It doesn't work, it doesn't work in an internal worldview critique. And again, sa internal worldview critique, you simply just grant the truth of that worldview and cross-examine it. So, ganun lang yun. You don't need to believe that. You just simply grant. Okay? So, to wrap things up, my opponent tonight cannot justify truth. Umiiwas siya sa mga absolutes. He defines truth. Sabi niya, truth is whatever comports to reality. Pwede ko namang i-accept yon, but para maging consistent ako sa aking Christian position, whatever God says true is true. Or, truth is whatever conforms to the mind of God. Truth is in the person of Jesus Christ. Kaya ang panawagan ko sa mga unbelievers ngayon, including Mar, I believe na kapag develop na kami ng relationship ni Mar, gusto ko baka mas maging close na kami ni Mar kaysa kay Kamatis Analysis Unit. So, if you're an unbeliever at meron ka pang doubt sa belief mo, sabi nga ni Thomas Aquinas, Augustine pala, believe that you might understand. So, ang hope natin sa ating plight dito sa mundong ito is Jesus Christ. Magkakaroon tayo ng napakaraming reality claims such as reality is just an illusion if we deny the Christian worldview. And I assume na ito ay absurd sa mga unbelievers na nakakarinig nito, but we believe in the power of the gospel, and we are not ashamed to proclaim the gospel. You must repent of your sins and trust Jesus Christ. Without the universal transcendent mind, we cannot know the laws of logic, we cannot justify or account laws of logic, morality, and so on and so forth. And let me close this by quoting 1 Corinthians 1:20, where is the one who is wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the debater of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? Now, when the Bible says foolish, hindi po siya nag-engage sa name calling. Ipinapakita po ng Panginoon dito yung state of mind that once you deny the truth of the Christian worldview, it will really lead someone's worldview into something that you really don't like when I said it. So, I hope po, para maka-escape po tayo sa foolishness na ito, hindi po tayo ang judge sa Panginoon. Okay? Hindi po tayo ang judge. Diyos po ang makakapagpabago ng isipan nyo. Hindi po yung napakagandang argument ko na demonstrate ko kay Sir Mar. It's not my argument. Pero ang Diyos lang, sa pamagitan ng mga sinasabi ko, naway siya ay mag-work sa mga oras na ito. God bless you all and have a great night.
Alright, okay. So, I'm trying to make shoutouts na lang sa mga active sa ating thread. Pinaka-active na nakikita ko palagi si Ate Girl Kate Malanog and Sir Emil Cataluna. Shoutout sa inyong dalawa. And Sir Carl James Ramos, Sir Aaron the German, ang kanyang apelido, mahirap basahin. And Sir Mikey, of course, Sir Mikey, Sir Jihan Box, and yeah.
Sir Mikey, bye-bye. Sir Mikey, bye-bye. Close na kami ni...
Wala na, friendship over.
Alright. Okay, so, ayun no, friends na sila. It's an evidence na walang boundaries ang pagmamahal or ang brotherhood, no? We can live on in one world with different views, but still care for each other. And with that being said, we may disagree on big or major ideas in this world, but right now we agree on one thing, that as much as possible, you wash your hands, take care of yourselves, huwag kayong lumabas na yung bahay, and yeah. God bless sa mga naniniwala, and take care always sa mga maniniwala pa or sa mga ayaw talagang maniwala. Alright?
Mar.
Okay, thank you
Virtual
very
handshake.
much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you
Maraming
again
salamat.
next
Maraming salamat.
time.
Alright.
Sana matigil na yung mga name calling sa sa comment section.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. So, ano yan, 75% niyan, puro trolling lang. I'm very sure of it.
oo nga. Ay, nako.
Okay.
Anyway, salamat po. Salamat, Sir Mar. Salamat, Diskurso
Thank you,
Pinas.
thank you.
Let's do this again. Okay. God bless.
Yep.
God bless.
Thank you.